just a little bit ahead of time. But go ahead. Go ahead. Sam.
Oh yeah, I
Sorry.
was saying they got a contest here, like not really far from where we live at, and some one of the casinos I think is sponsoring it. Not sponsoring it, but I think it's gonna be in their like parking lot or something. So that looks
Oh,
promising.
cool.
Yep, been itching to get back out there.
So how you liking that Onyx?
The one that I haven't had any time try yet.
Uh,
I have had such an insanely busy week that the first time I'm ever going to try it is actually at this US Canadian competition.
wow.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, I have not, and it's killing me because I love new toys, okay? Love them. But between coming off of, I think I'm coming off of 6 weeks in a row right now.
Mm.
Um, and I'm right back at, I've only been home for 3, 4 days each week. And then I've been back on the road, traveling and or prepping for the next contest. So for me, and then trying to be a mom on top of all that, because that's always fun.
6 weeks in a row. You slacking? No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
tell me about it. And so it's been a real challenge, just to do some practices of things. Yeah, because I was at Sam's Club event, I was at the Cross Border and Blues event, I had a ribs class, I had Boston Hills barbecue event. Um, that backs up to Rock City Rib Fest. Yeah, so I'm coming off of 6 weeks in a row now, and I'm going into my seventh week now.
Is this the
And
busiest you've been?
it's right up there. And next weekend is my eighth week in a row.
Wow.
All barbecue events and or teaching. So I have not had a weekend. My first weekend down in 10 weeks will be July 16th,
Wow.
and that's there's another barbecue contest on that weekend, and I don't think I have it in me to go. To be perfectly honest, I don't think I have it in me.
So you going
Because
to a
I'm just
contest and
exhausted.
trying out a new cooker at the same time. That's
Well,
interesting.
you know what the thing is that I'm going to run my normal amounts on the regular cookers, and then I'm going to put
Okay.
a couple in there just to play.
Okay. Okay.
There's a bit of a learning curve, of course.
Oh, sure.
I've always been for all the jokes I get about pellets or whatever. Thing is, I cook half on charcoal, half on pellets,
Mm.
and so for a new charcoal cooker, charcoal cookers take I think a little more learning curve than um, cookers. So we'll see. We will see, but I'm excited. It's just such an awesome unit. So, and I'm excited to. I'm
You
really
got it from those
excited to
guys
get
right
in there.
right on site at Rock City, or you got it shipped to you?
No, I picked it up right on site.
Cool.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what.
Think about that for a second.
Shipping. Jesus.
90 pounds shipped to Canada.
Mm,
Oh
mm,
my
mm.
good gracious, I would have paid a ton. Yeah, no. Picked it up. We picked it up. No, actually, I picked it up in Boston Hills. Sorry, not Rock City. I picked it up in Boston Hills. So the Guru guys, I've got their phone numbers if I need help. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. With the guru guys, they're like almost in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Half an hour ride, we're right up there at their shop.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's a
Great
good
bunch
thing.
of guys too.
Yeah.
All right,
Kenny and Tom Bob are
just
really
Mm.
good guys.
yeah, just one moment. Neil, it looks like Neil's on. Just bear with me here.
Left coast checking in.
It really sucks to be in Canada some weekends. Oh, sorry. I actually said I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Well, wait a minute. Do you have the Planet Green channel?
I don't know. I don't watch that much TV. I really rarely watch TV.
They're airing the Barbecue Pitmaster season 1 all July 4th.
Why can't they do number 2? Can we go back to do number 2, please? Because that means I get more exposure. I'm all about that.
All right, just a moment. Let me get George on. Looks like Neil's not on.
Hello.
That's George.
Hey, how's it going, George?
Hey.
Sorry, guys. I was out and didn't see the update to 8:15.
Yeah, I did the update because we were going on. I just wanted to have everybody together for the 8:30 start.
Oh, okay.
That's all. I meant to schedule it a little earlier. So
Is any Nebraska or Nevada?
Nebraska.
Oh, thank you.
NV is Nevada.
Where the heck is Nebraska? Holy crap, Nebraska's far. Okay.
Okay.
Indiana. 8 hours. Oh, not for that money. I'm not going.
All right, let me try Neil one more time. It looks like we at 8:29. We're going to start right at 8:30. Just bear with me here.
Oh. Oh.
Hello,
Hey, what's up, Neil?
anime.
All right, I'm just going to bring you in. We're going to go for the 8:30 start. We're right up at the moment. Okay, everybody there? Hello?
Hello?
Someone has me on is someone streaming as well?
Streaming what?
From the Outdoor Cooking channel?
No.
No.
Not me.
You Neil?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm not echoing anymore. That's perfect.
Hey, homie.
Hey,
Hey.
All right, I'm going to get started. Just bear with me here.
This episode of In the Hut has been brought to you by Fred's Music and Barbecue, your barbecue superstore. Please visit them at www.fredsmusicandbbq.com.
Get ready for an insightful panel discussion on barbecue. You are In the Hut. In the Hut. Now, here's your program host, Huck Jr.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 32 of In the Hut. Today we have Neil, Big Mr. Strada. We have Senior, as always, Danielle Domovsky, Diva Q, and we have George Hensler. First topic I want to go into is Huck's Hut contest. We partnered with Mr. Barbecue Products, and you can win an 18-piece barbecue grill set along with the Hydro Blaster grill brush. It's a pretty nice set there, and we've been using it for some time. And you can go to huckshut.com to actually view the reviews we did on both of these products. I have to say that the Hydro Blaster grill brush is pretty cool. What do you think, Senior?
Oh, that's really fun. Gadgets are always fun to use, and it's really big. And it's useful, and with the water coming out, it cleans the grill real good. We got a lot of nice use out of it, especially with the new custom grill grate. It did a real good job on that, and it's always fun to have good tools.
Right, and just perfect scheduling of this particular podcast. That contest ends tonight at 11:59 Eastern. So, and anyone that's listening live on the Outdoor Cooking Channel, you guys just go to huckshut.com and enter that contest. Just read the rules first, of course. So, second thing I want to get into, George, awesome blog post there regarding interference of the county's health department on contests.
Okay.
I really appreciate the input, but it made me raise the topic, and I want to ask any of our other panelists today if they've run into such a thing. And then George, after that, I guess you can go into what was actually what actually prompted a post as such. Danielle, have you ran into any interference of any particular county's health department while at a contest?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of times in various different counties throughout the U.S. In fact, one of them just in the last couple of weeks here at a contest. And I'm not going to tell you which contest because the health inspector was a complete tool. So I don't want to specify it. And it was a really bad run-in because the health inspector that I had come over, it was the oddest of circumstances, and he came over and accused us of vending. And we were required to pay him to the county, I think it was 150 or 175 US immediately. And I stood there looking at all my grills that were off at that time, where my banner was up, where we didn't have any table out. We weren't vending. We don't vend anywhere in the US. And I said to him, "You're kidding, right?" I said, "What do you think I'm vending? Air?" And of course, I'm just, he got my back up a bit because he was just a tool and just the way he came at us. And I said, "Come on in my trailer. Come look at what I got." I said, "You can take a look at all my competition meats. You can take a look at all the temperatures. We have, based on some previous experiences, we actually keep individual thermometers in our coolers even when we travel to ensure that they're at a safe temperature. As well, we use infrared guns just to make sure because of the amount that we do travel. Keeping the public safe and their judges safe, is utmost importance to us. But this guy, I tell you, he was looking for something and he wasn't getting it out of me. And I just ended up telling him, I said, "Please feel free to go and talk to the organizers." I said, "I'm not paying $175 for vending because I'm not."
Right.
And he stomped off. And I said, "All right, whatever." And I went about my business. Well, he came back a little while later. He goes, "Well, I just had it confirmed that you weren't vending." Well, you know what? You're not a rocket scientist, obviously, but, it seemed like a really weird experience. I have also had a couple experiences in Georgia, and they were actually very positive experiences. I had a health inspector come by. I said, "Do you mind if we take a look at your coolers?" I said, "Absolutely." Our outside of our coolers is kind of rough looking. You can scrub them as much as you can, and a friend of mine, Mr. Keever, does an excellent job of scrubbing out the backs of his coolers. I don't know what he uses, but our outside of our coolers, being those big, massive igloo ones, the white ones, doesn't look all that great, but the inside is always immaculately bleached out.
Right.
So I've only had, a few experiences, and they were vastly different. The health inspector was very pleasant, said that they were very impressed with how clean actually the competitors were, that we had the 3-bay sink systems available to use if necessary, that we had the fire extinguishers, that we had proper thermometers, and that we were doing our utmost with the bleach water and whatnot to keep it as clean as possible. So the experiences I've had are very vast and in between, but for the most part, very positive.
Okay, sounds good. How about you, Neil? Well, I know you deal with health inspectors all the time, right?
Yeah, I do. But the only time I ever see them at a contest is if we're actually doing like a People's Choice thing where we're feeding the public.
Okay.
I've never seen them at a contest where it was just regular contest where we're just feeding the judges. That's something I've never run across. And the ones that I have met at contests when we are doing the People's Choice, they've all been really friendly. They've been helpful. Most of them are impressed. I mean, I even have pH strips that I carry for our dishwater and stuff like that before I got the trailer with the sink on it. And they were like, "Wow, you have everything." I said, "Well, I've done this a few times."
Yeah, just a few.
But outside of that, I've had some bad experiences with health inspectors. I had one that wanted to close us down, no matter what we did. We went and bought stuff that we would never have. They tried to make us put our barbecue pit under it's saying our barbecue pit needed to be covered. I said, have you spoken with the fire marshal? The
Yeah,
fire
right,
marshal said,
exactly.
no, this can't be on the cover, and you're telling us it has to be covered. No, y'all need to get together before you come back and talk to us.
Right.
And we can't please everybody. So, it's, you go through all this kind of stuff, but for the most part, the health department people that I've dealt with have been really friendly and helpful.
Now, let me go on a tangent, if I may. Out there, generally, how tough is, I guess, your county's health department? This is in like when you're at the farmers markets and such.
It's getting tougher by the day. I mean, some things that you just know you have to have. You have to keep your meat, either over 140 degrees or under 40 degrees. You know that stuff. Your sink. You got to have your sink. What they're doing now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to insist that everybody that vends has to have their own sink. And not only do they have to have their own sink, it needs to be under a separate canopy than your food or anything else. And all the farmers market managers are going to war with them right now. So it hasn't really passed yet. They've gone back to reconsider all this because the people that are making these rules have never been to a farmer's market. How do you know, this is what needs to be done if you haven't done any research? You're just pulling stuff out your butt just to justify your position.
Right,
so,
exactly.
And you don't have anybody on the board that actually works at a farmer's market that can say, yeah, this needs to happen or this doesn't need to happen. So there's some things that are in the pipe, because as it stands now, at a farmer's market, you can have, as long as the market has a sink with a certain capacity, it has to have a certain size gray water tank, a huge one, and it can be used by everyone there at the market. And
Okay.
there are a lot of markets like that. Some
Right.
of them you have to have your own sink, but other ones, the market provides the sink. Well, if that goes away, there's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to work because they can't afford to go out and spend $1,000, on a portable sink with hot and cold water and, a certain size gray water tank and all that kind of stuff. They just can't afford it. They aren't making that much to begin with. So they're going to put a lot of people out of business if this goes through. So it's a huge fight going on right now. I got the trailer, so I'm covered right now. But if they're saying, oh, your sink needs to be under a separate canopy and stuff like that, so I have to go buy another canopy. And they want to close us in, make us put up all screen sides all the way around the canopy and only serve through the holes. Well, people are buying food, want to see you making it.
Yeah,
And they can't see if you're all screened in. So,
or you can
like I
get
said,
one of
there are a lot
those
of things going on.
sawzalls. Hey Neil, or you could get one of those sawzalls and just cut it out of your trailer and put it in.
Yeah, no.
No.
I'll go back to just strictly catering if I have to.
Yeah, it sounds like it's funny. It sounds like the example Diva was given was one that the guy was looking for an extra paycheck. That's what it sounded like to me.
It did sound
You
like
think?
that.
Yeah.
You need to.
I'm absolutely thinking that's where he was going.
Right. You should have wrote out a check to the county, then now have them cash that. But Neil, you did you have to have any particular specs when getting the trailer, or you just went with what you wanted for that, and then I guess in hopes of it, like the county being fine with it.
Well, the biggest issue is always the sink, So I had to have a sink on the trailer, and the way the rule reads out here, it has to be a sink with drain boards attached on both sides. They have to actually be part of the sink. So you can't have a sink with just a drain board on one side. It has to have drain boards extending from both sides that are at least as big as the basins of the sink. And the sink basins have to be big enough to accommodate at least half of your largest pot or utensil. So those are the main specifications. And it has to have at least a 20-gallon freshwater tank and a 30-gallon gray water tank. I don't know why.
Were you nervous when they first came to check this rig out?
No, I knew I was straight.
Oh, you
No.
knew it was good. Okay.
I had the rules and sent it to Jay when he was working on it. He said, "This is what we need. This is what has to happen."
Okay.
So
Cool. As long as they didn't try to switch it up on you, you know.
no, we're cool.
Okay, George.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
George.
Uh-oh.
Which is one of the main reasons why I brought this up. Your article that you posted, Think Smoke. Awesome article. Can you share for our listeners who may not necessarily read the blog your experience on what happened recently?
Well, we were at a contest recently, and I actually heard the spiel coming from the site next to me before they came to mine, and they were talking about they wanted all the food to be handled underneath of easy ups and with with gloves and that kind of thing. It just got me to thinking. And I've heard, and I've written about it previously about the involvement with the health departments and barbecue contests. While I agree to a point that the health department should be involved if you're serving the public, vending, catering, or if it's a people's choice, I could even see them getting involved because you are handing food out to the general public, and in a way the health department is watching out and looking out for the general public. I don't have a problem with most of that. My problem begins when they start poking around in the contest setting. Now, I certainly am not going to dispute the fact that I think people should wear gloves, and we wear gloves every time we touch anything within our site and preparing food for the judges. That's not my beef, but there's been some other instances around here on the East Coast where what I consider to be health departments gone wild, where they have there was a contest last year where they made teams spread out plastic in their sites, in their work areas that they had to stand on plastic sheets to work. There was another instance where a health department wanted to consider all the teams as vendors and make them abide by every vending regulation and rule that they already had in place, when in fact all they're doing is feeding the judges. And in my view, for whatever that's worth, which is not too much, I'm sure, the judges are there voluntarily. They're not paying for any food. They're not being forced to eat our food.
Right.
So, for the health department to come poking around and making demands and setting ultimatums and giving you rules and regulations to operate in. Again, I'm not saying I'm not against food safety. What I'm against is sticking their nose where, in my opinion, it doesn't belong. And I take it to the extreme by saying, okay, if I'm having a party at my house this weekend where I'm inviting 40 or 50 of my friends, what then? Do I have to get the health department out here to get me an inspection here
Inspect your kitchen?
Before I serve out food to my friends? And if you think about it in the barbecue contest setting, in my opinion, it's the same thing. I've had them come through my site. I've had them, like Diva said, I've had some very good experiences with them, and I always oblige. I'm not going to give anybody a hard time, but it just, when I got to thinking about it, it just started to get under my skin a little bit. It just seems like at every turn the government is sticking more and more of their nose. And I'm not trying to make this out to be a political discussion, but it just seems like they're putting their nose in more and more places where it doesn't belong. And in my view, it doesn't belong in the barbecue contest setting when all we're doing is serving our entries to the judges. We're not vending. We're not handing food out to the public. And for the most part, as was this contest we were at last week, they gave us signage to put up to tell the public they couldn't get samples. And we sometimes like to give people that want to try our stuff, we let them try it.
Right.
But in this case, they made us put up a sign, which we put up, We went by that rule and put the sign up, and we didn't hand out food because they told us not to. So, we abide by the rules, but I just think at times they go a little bit too far.
Yeah, I'd say so. What can you go further into the reason? What was the reason that they asked you to put the plastic to serve on top of, like, put the plastic under your feet?
I wasn't at that contest. I talked to some people that had been, but it was apparently a grass surface there, and I guess they didn't want anything coming up out of the ground area contaminating the food products.
So are you going to take your sneaker off and sit it on the table?
Well, that again, you could take it. Should we have to everybody put a one of those white spacesuits on to walk around inside your site and with a mask and a head net? And I mean, where does it end?
Right, right.
Now out here, there's actually a rule that if you're not cooking on asphalt, you need to put a canopy down. But that's for vending. That's not at a contest.
Right.
But if you're vending, if you're not cooking on asphalt, you're not serving on asphalt, you need to put a tarp or plastic or carpet or something down in your booth.
Yeah.
Now, if you're I'm not vending this at a contest. That's a whole different story. I don't even know why the health department needs to be there.
Oh, guys, can I play the devil's advocate on this for just a couple minutes?
Okay, shoot.
In my experiences, and believe me, excuse me, I will tell you, a couple of times in my competition history, I have wanted to call the health department myself. And instead, I have made it aware to the reps, because I have seen some people on different circuits, and you're going to find this, that have a complete lack of common sense. I have seen hogs left out on tables for 4-5 hours with no ice in 95 and 100-degree weather.
Wow.
I have seen pork butts, and we all have seen this, where people will leave it out on tables. We're not talking about just while you're prepping, getting your cooker up to temp. We're talking for hours. In that case, I think your best bet is to always contact the rep and make them aware of it, because while we may not be serving the public, I do believe we have due diligence to apply in order to not kill the judges. There are days when I want some of those judges not quite so healthy, but for the vast majority of times, I will say that if you see something like that, I have been at contests where I have seen people that left their chicken out for a couple of hours.
Oh, no.
And left their butts out, and left their ribs out, and left everything else. And there is no way that it was in a safe temperature, and in no way should the public and or judges be fed that food because of the bacteria. You can argue against, the fact that the cooker might kill the bacteria, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, as long as most people are using common sense and using gloves and, practicing, some great standard, cooking and cleaning programs, it's usually not a problem. But there have been many instances where that has occurred. And in that case, while the health department, we don't want to open the doors to the health department because, like George said, where does it end? But on the other hand, I do believe we have a due diligence to make the reps aware of it and say, hey, you know what? I'm a little concerned about this from a strictly competitor standpoint. What would happen to us all if all of a sudden a judge became violently ill, or the entire table of 6 became violently ill right after a contest? Would the health department then not crack down on all the competitions and say, all right, well, you know what? You almost killed some judges, so we're going to step in for every contest now.
Well, they'd have a point there.
Exactly.
But we need one to go before.
I think we have to make sure that due diligence, if you see those situations, bring it to the rep's attention and say, you know what? Under the KCBS rules, you're required to hold your food, in safe accordance with all food regulations. So, make your reps aware first and say, like, listen, this is not good.
Right.
Or whatnot. It's not tattletaling. It's just, I think that there are some situations where, there is real reason to pause and to think it over and say, the reps do need to be notified.
Right. Well, what's your thoughts on that whole article, this whole topic per se, Senior?
Well, I kind of agree with a lot of our already heard. I mean, I think the health department should, be where in their place. Yeah, if I'm vending, yeah, they should be around. But just like Diva said, if you see something, I think it's the reps, the contest reps' job for that to take care of that. They're there running the contest, and they want this thing to come off fine too. So I'm sure that if you see something that you think is out of the way, like you don't want to be a tattletale, but you want this thing to go smoothly, and you don't want it to go further where the uh, the health department is taking over and looking over your shoulder, and all like I can see that would be in an instance somebody's going to have to pay more money, to have them there, to police the vendors is one thing, but if they got to police the vendors and all the
Contestants,
competitors,
yeah.
it's just going to drive the price up of competing. So we try to practice safe, food handling, and different times a year. It's hotter than other times, so you got to be a little more careful. Stuff can't sit out. If it's 20 degrees outside, yeah, I can have something sit out a little bit longer. But if it's 95, that's another story. So
Especially chicken.
yeah, ooh, especially chicken. So I say yeah, try the best you can to practice safe food handling, and do the right thing and keep them health department where they should be and the vendors.
Cool. Thank you. One thing I want to stick in there, and this is moving along. I just want to let all our listeners know, at least here in the U.S., Diva, because I don't know what's going on up there. If you have the Planet Green channel or not, all day on July 4th, they'll be airing the first season of Barbecue Pitmasters, so we can go through with that and relive something that was nice.
Well, I set my DVR today, so I'll have that on file. I heard that they were selling that box set, but now I got it.
So Neil, before you joined, Danielle was rooting for season 2 to be to be aired.
Come on, Neil. I know you
I
want.
don't.
Just
Hey,
like me, we want that shown again.
hey, I have no idea why she would want that, but
Maybe Labor
Maybe
Day.
just the 4th episode. That's about the only one I.
if you could be more specific, right?
I'm all with you on that one, Neil.
Well, next.
That one was particularly entertaining. I don't know about the rest of them, but that one was entertaining.
We may be a little bit biased, just a wee bit.
Just a tad. I mean, if I look at episode 4 of season 2, would I see somebody that looked like you guys? Maybe.
They may have a resemblance.
Next topic I wanted to get into was July 4th. July 4th's coming up. I just want to know what's your like go-to recipe, and I'll start out with George for that one.
My go-to recipe is a barbecue beans that I do that has brisket and pork butt in it, and I've been making it for a while. Got the recipe off the barbecue forum. It's a super recipe, and everybody that's ever had it. Anytime I get invited, they tell me I have to bring my beans, or I'm not allowed to show up. So
Yeah,
that'll be what I'll be making for my sides for this weekend.
you care to share how you make that in a short explanation?
Yes, it's and I use a number 10 can of beans. You put some some mustard, barbecue sauce, celery seed, some chopped celery, onions, and peppers, a pound or two of chopped brisket and pulled pork mixed. Mix it all together in your aluminum pan, and then dump a bunch of brown sugar on the top. don't stir the brown sugar in, and just throw her in the smoker for about 2.5, 3 hours till it gets nice and bubbly. And that brown sugar will cook down through the beans, and it's out of sight.
Wow, that sounds pretty good. I hope Senior was listening.
That sounds like a meal. That sounds like a meal.
It's not an original. Now I give credit to the barbecue forum for coming up with that recipe. It's been on there a couple of different times. I've seen it, and it's just it's really
Okay, Neil, let's go to you. What's your and don't tell me that you don't make anything for July 4th. I know this is yet another holiday, but I know
Don't
every
be stealing
holiday
my
I
lines,
ask you,
man.
you say, oh, I had a salad, or oh, I had McDonald's or something like that.
Make ribs.
Yeah, I had a McRib.
Oh, pain.
Oh,
No, I
man.
know. No, I mean I know you cook barbecue all the time, so you kind of take off on the holidays. So what?
That's generally what I do. I mean, I don't cook barbecue on the 4th of July.
Okay, well
I usually try to find somebody else cooking. I don't like to cook at all.
okay, well let me ask this better. What would you, if you were to cook?
If I was to cook,
Yeah, what would you make on July 4th holiday?
um, outside of the usual barbecue, I'd probably do ribs and brisket. That seems to be everybody's favorite. Um, the only unusual thing, I'd probably make a sweet potato casserole. Um, that usually goes over well. I take mashed sweet potatoes. It's got some pineapple, and the juice, lots of brown sugar, salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, and I mash it all together, add in a bunch of butter, and sprinkle some more brown sugar across the top, and stick it in the oven, and not like a pie tin, but a baking pan or a casserole dish, and just let it cook. After a while, it starts, when it thickens up just a little bit, take it out, let it sit, then it's ready to go. It's a simple dish. It's a nice sweet aside. It's something a little different. And that's probably what I would go with.
Sounds good. What would Mister cook if she's not taking a break, or is she cooking anything?
If you
That
can
mac and
convince her
cheese?
to cook,
If you could,
which means your skills of persuasion are far better than mine. Uh,
Money
she would
usually
make-
works.
She makes an awesome mac and cheese. I mean, people at the market beg for it, and she makes it, maybe once every 2 or 3 months, and people just come up begging for it. Is she gonna make some more mac and cheese? I mean, it's the ooey gooey. So much cheese it's hard to pull it out. Pull the spoon out, because the cheese keeps pulling it back. That type of.
well, what
you know,
kind what
ooey
kind does she make? Like the creamy mac and cheese, or like the casserole type?
It's not the casserole type. Doesn't have the breadcrumbs on top or anything like that. But it is done like we do it in baking pans.
So you can cut a piece like a cake, like. or
Not
no?
quite. It's not quite that thick.
Gotcha. Okay.
You can't just take a lump of it and put it there. No, it's not like that. It's more creamy.
Gotcha.
But it's somewhere in between the two. It's not really loose. But
Right.
it's not, you can just pull hunks out of it.
Okay. Sounds good. Senior.
Well, I've been doing some burnt ends, because a lot of people, they ask me to do those burnt ends, and so I hook those burnt ends up, and they be popping them like they eating popcorn at the movies, so, so and another thing I it's really good is doing moinks, which is basically it's a meatball wrapped in bacon, with your favorite rub and barbecue sauce on it. I mean, you can go all out, if you want to, and make your own meatballs and, have the best bacon and everything with it, or you can just go frozen meatballs and just wrap it up and make it real quick. But I mean, either way, they really turn out pretty good. But mostly, I'm gonna have to make them burnt ends.
Okay, Senior. After you smoke the brisket, obviously, where do you take it from there? When you cut the pieces for the burnt ends, what
Well,
do you do?
I usually chop that point up on the brisket, and try to keep it pretty big, so it's a nice piece, and I put a little bit more of my rub on it, maybe a little of my salt, barbecue sauce, and put it back on for a little while. The last time I did burnt ends, I wasn't paying much attention, and the cooker got up to about 500, and they was really burnt then that time, and they was really burnt ends then, but hey, the final product really turned out great. I'm like, oh man, maybe I might have to do that a little bit more often, Hey,
Hey, Senior,
hmm
I tell you what, a whole lot of movies, their box office would double if they did serve burnt popcorn.
Right.
Yeah, that's for sure. But then you have a lot of people sleep, Neil.
Some of the movies deserve that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we'll be doing on 4th of July. Burnt ends.
She said burnt ends, and what was your other one again?
The moinks.
The moink balls. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your rub of choice on those? I know she said you put the rub on the meatball before you wrap it in bacon.
Well, no, I mean I wrap it up in bacon and then put the rub all on it, and put it on the cooker, get it all nice, and get that bacon all crispied up, and then put a little barbecue sauce on it. Put it back on for a few minutes. Take it off, and away you go.
Okay, and
Watch them disappear.
Okay, and jumping back to the burnt ends real quick. Now you said you put them back on. You're putting them back on the grill, or you put them on a stove. And if you put them on a grill, what are you using? A pan or tin pan? Or
lately
what?
I've been just using my big cast iron frying pan. I just fill that frying pan up with them and put it back on the grill. And like I said, my last experience, I had the cooker up to about 500, but normally it's much lower than that.
What's the
and I
length of
usually
time?
go about an hour or two, and pull them off, and they're ready to go.
Sounds
They're ready
good.
to go.
You guys are being really rude. I just want to say that. Danielle,
Yeah.
here in America, July 4th is a holiday that we celebrate. We celebrate our independence.
Oh.
I just thought I'd bring this along.
Neil, if you want to go there,
You know what? You know what, Neil? I was getting there.
Neil, if
That's
you
why I
wanna
saved
go
it for
there,
last.
I'm just gonna say, can we go back to I believe Canada originally burnt down the original White House, and the only war that we've ever been in, Canada won. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
If you're gonna throw down like that, buddy, I'm gonna bring up some history.
Okay,
We
now
just keep forgetting to fight Canada.
Danielle, I'm not too up on Canada's history, so I just want to know: do you guys have an Independence Day, and when is it?
We have Canada Day, and it comes 3 days prior to your party. We have July 1st, which is this Friday.
Oh, cool.
And-
So what do you plan to have? What's your
Anything
go-to recipe? I should say.
I love stuff like what I love grilling on that day a lot. Steaks, lobster, shrimp. I love a good mac and cheese. Good gracious, I have an ultimate mac and cheese recipe that just about kill you. It's on my website, but it's damn worth it. I love anything wrapped in bacon that day. Mind you, I like anything wrapped in bacon any day too.
I was wondering.
Really, who am I trying to kid? I love making ABTs. I love making them and eating them and sharing them. So for me, it's a lot of grilling. There's so much fun to be had on grills, and you can go in so many different directions. And so certainly, I'll be grilling up something, probably steaks, probably some nice thick porterhouses or something. I love porterhouses, so
Sounds
it's all good. It's all good.
Sounds good. This is the portion of the show where I ask you guys what are you going to be up to within the next 2 weeks, I guess, prior to our next show. Let's start out with Neil on that one.
Actually, as soon as I get up, I got to run downstairs and start doing some prep work because I'm going to be on Good Day LA tomorrow morning.
Oh,
wow.
I'm going to be, showing off a bunch of barbecue. I actually have the guys that sang the theme song on my website. They're actually going to be there singing also. So it's going to be a cool little segment.
all right.
So then you'll get, I
right.
guess you can get a higher quality recording then that way too, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna say, be sure you guys record this.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm gonna be on there probably about 8:55 is when we're scheduled to be on. And once the segment's over, I know this lady does put her segments up on YouTube, so I'll be sure and post a link so everybody can see it.
Okay, that's perfect. I'm gonna get you out I'm gonna overnight you a Huck's Hut shirt so you can wear it.
Anytime, man. I'll put it on.
I'll have you out there looking like a race car.
Send me a medium.
Oh no!
I'll go out there wearing that with your name.
Oh no! Okay, well, no, listen. Don't represent Huck's Hut with anything in the media. I'll pass on that one. Cool. How about you, George?
Our team will be heading to Easton in 2 weeks for the barbecue contest down there, Easton, Maryland. The guys are going to cook that one by themselves. I'll be away on vacation, and they decided they wanted to cook one without me. I think they're testing the waters to see if they're going to start their own team and leave me. But I'm looking forward to see how they do, and I'm looking forward to the little vacation time with the family.
Cool. Where you headed?
Well, we're heading down to the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Wow. Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you've already given them the blueprint.
Which town is that? Which town are you going to? Because I know it's several of them, like Kill Devil Hills and such.
We're going up in the Duck area, which is a little bit north of Kill Devil Hills.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Oh, beautiful area. Beautiful.
Yeah,
I think that those guys, they're talking about renaming their team. We were those guys.
Where did George get
one.
to?
That's the sequel, right?
Yep.
Danielle?
I am pretty packed the next couple weeks. This Friday, I leave for Ottawa, Ontario. I am very honored and truly, sincerely mean honored. I've been asked to represent Canada with two other teams, one of which I got to choose myself, which is even cooler, at the U.S. Embassy in Ottawa for their 4th of July celebration.
Mm-hmm.
It is the largest 4th of July celebration outside of the U.S. I will have an opportunity to help feed 4,500 dignitaries and cook for them. I'll be with John Woods from First Choice Catering. He's an award-winning caterer from the South. I'll be with Natural Born Grillers, which is John Wheeler. I will be with, Military Chefs. They're a team, and their pitmaster is James Swenson. In addition to my team, Diva Q, I got to pick the team Can't Stop Grilling with pitmaster Tim Brown, who is beating me every single place we go this year.
Oh.
And he is an exceptional barbecuer.
Well, he's on your side now.
Yeah, and additionally representing Canada will be Steph Legary, and he's a barbecuer and caterer extraordinaire up in Ottawa, Ontario. So it's a U.S. versus Canada throwdown. All the details are on my website at divaq.ca. In addition, I'll be on this coming Tuesday, which is July 4th. I'll be on Canada AM, which is Canada's largest, most watched news show.
You mean Monday, Diva?
Monday. Sorry,
okay.
Thank you. Okay. Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll be on Canada AM for that. Once I get back, 3 days after that, I'm off to Ontario's very first KCBS contest, and that is just outside of Collingwood, Ontario. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've just announced 4 new barbecue classes on my website for July. We're going to be doing all things poultry, ribs, appetizers, and anything wrapped in bacon. and we'll be doing beef and chicken, turkey, and Cornish game hens. So there's 4 classes that are also booked in that, and I have some other media stuff that's coming up very rapidly. So I'm really booked and really looking forward to the next few weeks. It'll be intense, but certainly well worth it.
Wow, why don't you get up off your behind and do something?
And I got to be a mom somewhere in there too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that little thing.
Yeah, that's minor, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's just eating bonbons and watching TV.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we here at Huck's Hut are constantly working on one of the things we're working on are editing several videos for Huck's Hut TV. If you look at our YouTube channel, we're now adding the video recording of the podcast, so you get to, see my pretty little face and Senior's face as well. Well, his is pretty as well. Well, moving right along past that part.
I used to look like him.
Well, yeah, like I said, we're working on editing videos and such, and working on promotion of our forum, getting our Facebook page in order as well, and we got a extreme backlog of product reviews to do. So we may bombard you with a ton of product reviews coming up. We also have just be sure to check huckshut.com. We have guest writers now, not guest writers. We have regular contributors to the blog, and they're writing awesome stories. Malcolm Reed. Awesome story. We got George Hensler now. George did his first one, which we talked about earlier today. Think Smoke. We have Doug Francis as well, and Tim Bryan. So those are our regular contributors. Look for a column from them roughly once a month, and basically just check back often. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Till next time, you're in the hut.